Fred Dura and his family have lived in this house for 8 years, but they live in the K3 urban renewal area, and they have to move now. There are 13 of them, and they are black and poor, so they won't be able to find a decent home on their own. Here in Milwaukee's inner core, there are hundreds of families like the Duras.
It makes me feel like exploding. Then there are no people, other people outside this area is living like kings and queens. And to see the black people have to go through it with this, it can build up a lot of hate in you.
Perhaps many of you are familiar with our public housing project. We are now working on a new type of
off the track. I don't care what you've got planned for the future. Like, what about those who have been here for some time in these dirty, rotten houses, between houses that are rat-infested with windows broken and standing there vacant? What about those now? We don't want to know about what you plan to do in the future. Like, the people here are suffering now. What do you want to do about it now? What are you going to do about it now?
How many homes do you have available now for dislocated people?
None.
I am not in a position to answer that question.
Why?
Because I've earned this ship for over 200 years, telling us what's good for us, instead of us deciding what is good for us, for our own self. And if the left up to me, I'll take all of you, and instead of burning them damn products, I'll burn you bastards home down here.
In the inner city, every time they tear down more houses for an expressway or an urban renewal project, that means less houses for people who have to move. Since 1960, the city and the county between them have torn down 7,500 homes. The K3 urban renewal area is uprooting 1,200 families. Most of these are black and can't move out of the core. Most of them have a lot of children. No one wants them anywhere. That's why the black community sees the city as a white establishment that doesn't care. That's why you hear angry voices.
You know, you pay rent for a lifetime, and you have nothing at the end but a bunch of receipts, and you can't make a fire with those the last 15 minutes, friend. But I've got the magic thing for you here. As little as $250 down, and you could be into a home of your own at no closing cost. And I don't mean these are old, run-down, dilapidated homes, baby. These are choice homes. Call now. All right, okay? That's the Oxford Realty. Everybody got a groove now.
This film is about one thing alone. What it means to be black and live in Milwaukee's inner city. Because if you're white, you live in a different city. The Negro sees himself trapped in the core, stuck with bad schools, menial jobs, arrogant police, and run-down houses. This film will look through his eyes at one of his problems, urban renewal, and feel his mood of growing frustration. Fred Dura's wife died a year and a half ago. He's disabled and the family lives on welfare. He and his oldest son, Carl, run the family, and they are trying to find a place to move to.
This was half keeping me sick. I can't find no place to move to, and man on me about his rent, but I told him I wouldn't, and they don't want to do nothing, see, they just worry you know, and the kids ain't satisfied with him, they ain't got decent place to hang their clothes and nothing. See, it wasn't too bad when they were little, now they growing up, it's pretty. Cal? Come here.
A lot of people have been promising to find the Duras a house, including the city's K3 relocation office and the county welfare department. But so far, Mr. Dura has heard nothing more encouraging than promises.
Well, the guy was Mr. Chapman. He's the main man I talk to when I go down there. He said, well, you just hold on, Mr. Dura. First time I went there, he said, you'll be out. I said, well, I'd like to be moved by Christmas. And even my son, he had some people working with him. And they supposed to get us out. I don't know. I know ain't nothing doing. And ain't much more to go about here, because I got to go somewhere.
Sit down.
Robert, I wanted to give you a buzz this morning to check with you on one case that we are working on here that I think needs some extra special attention, and that is the Duras family. And I think maybe this isn't a bad, it wouldn't be a bad idea if we held an interagency conference here on this case. And perhaps...
Right as the situation stands at the present time, the heating particularly, since we don't own the building, we have no control over this phase of it, except that maybe we should counsel them and tell them to get a hold of the health department, whereby the health department...
Robert, would you have anything in your files right at the moment that you could use in terms of housing resources to relocate this family right within the immediate future, within the next day or two?
Well, we are getting a couple of these scattered site houses, which will be available from the Housing Authority. But I can't tell you whether I know we expect to get this one Friday, but this is the one that Taylor is getting. Now, I don't know whether they're going to get any of these other ones this week also. So I, without checking with the Housing Authority, I would not be in a position to say whether there would be the possibility of one of those scattered sites.
Our first step would be is to have a conference with the landlord to determine whether or not he's aware of the furnace, to get some kind of evaluation of what's wrong with the heating system.
I think I got to work, like I'm trying to do now, work between the real estate and myself and get me a place, because they ain't doing nothing. It's been October, as long as they've been trying to find me a place, and I ain't going nowhere yet. Well, I looks in the paper, and then I go check out, I go to different real estates and ask them about it, what they got, you know.
What have you found so far?
I ain't find nothing. They said, well, we'll look and see, because with my family, they need a big house, see.
But to find 5 bedrooms to rent, you would have to pay over $100 for that. And
Yeah, I know that.
We just do not have a house that large.
They said, well, we'll take your name, and if we come up with something, we'll let you know. And when you tell them you got 12 kids, that's it. They don't even want you in the house. We don't want these many kids and all that. You know.